I will best love other human beings when I represent God and His truth to them.
From Walking in Grace, this is the Straight Truth Podcast, Christian truths in an increasingly secular world.
How do you speak truth and love to a transgender person or somebody who claims that? And maybe especially to the parent of one. And maybe have you had to do that before? What does that really look like? Do you probably want to love them from a kind of standpoint that they're another human being in God's image. You love them in that way, but yet you are abhorred by their life that they're choosing. So how do you speak the truth in love? Does that mean you call them by a different name that they are now adopting as their real identity and their real name? Do you continue to be friends with them? Do you go to whatever they invite you to? Do you become a kind of a partaker in whatever it is they're doing in terms of just their life? And what if you have a coworker who is transgender and they sit right next to you, the cubicle next to you? Mm-hmm. How do you talk to them if you're a believer and they've adopted this lifestyle? What do you say to these questions?
What we do is we deal with every person with the knowledge of who they are. So as you said already, Josh, made in the image of God, fellow human being. Mm-hmm. Just because they're confused, just because they're enslaved in sin at the moment, deceived by sin, doesn't mean that they are any different than I am from the standpoint of humanity. Their soul has equal worth with mine. So I care about them as a person. That's how I think about them. That's how I talk to them. That's how I relate to them. You already mentioned it, and we have to acknowledge it. There's something about all kinds of sin that we find repulsive as believers. Mm-hmm. And so we have to preach the truth to our own hearts and remind ourselves of these things I just mentioned. This is a fellow human being. This is someone made in the image of God. This is someone who's going to spend eternity in heaven or hell. So I love them. I care about them. That's part of it. At the same time, I'm loyal to our God. I'm loyal to His Word. I don't want to live my life in the realm of error. I want to live my life in the realm of truth. And these two worlds connect. These two worlds are not disconnected. They connect, which is to say, I will best love other human beings when I represent God and His truth to them. And so that's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. I want to bring God's truth to bear upon our relationship with one another. The most loving thing I'll ever do for any human being, no matter what sin we're talking about, is to tell them God's truth in an attitude and spirit that reflects the God whose truth it is. So He loves them, He cares about them, He is willing to save them and change their lives. I want that to come through in all my conversations with them. Mm-hmm. I never love anyone to affirm what will destroy them. Mm. I cannot love you and just watch as you run off a cliff. Mm-hmm. I can't love you and not do everything I can to hold you back, right? To do what I can to rescue you from the pit, from literally the flames of hell. I don't love you if I'm not willing to do that. But I want to do it with compassion. So I do not participate in the dysphoria. I do not participate in the deception. I'm not going to refer to you by pronouns that do not represent reality. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to refer to you by a name that doesn't reflect reality, which means as a believer, I've got to think about how to handle that in the most gracious, wise way that I can. So if there's a way to refer to people that I don't even get into that territory, then that's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. So I'm not looking to be unnecessarily offensive either. I'm not just looking for ways to offend people and to make a point. Mm-hmm. But what I cannot do and will not do is act as if something is real when it isn't. Mm-hmm. That doesn't help anyone. Mm-hmm. So love them well with the truth of God in hand. The need is the gospel. The need is salvation. The need is transformation. So if I talk to someone who's experiencing that dysphoria, I want to assure them that no matter how strongly they feel what they feel in themselves at the moment, Sin is a strong force.
That's true. Yeah.
And it has a force upon our minds and our emotions and everything else. You can, in the spiritual realm, you can feel like you're right side up when you're upside down.
Yeah.
So I believe you when you tell me you're having these strong feelings. I believe you when you tell me that you feel like you're out of place or out of sorts or not who you seem to be. I'm not denying you feel that way. What I'm saying to you is your feelings can't be trusted. That there's a very real God, there's a very real devil, there's very real truth, and there's very real lies in the spiritual realm. And your confusion represents spiritual lies and the work of a spiritual enemy. And I love you too much not to tell you that the true and living God has an answer for the way that you're feeling. And that answer is to reorient yourself according to His Word. So what does the Bible tell us about creation? What does the Bible tell us about maleness and femaleness? What does the Bible tell us about sin and how it affects us and how to to be saved from it, but then also how to overcome it and to fight it as it is at work in our own person. So those are the sorts of conversations that we would have, trying to help them with the truth of God's Word.
And you would say the same sort of things to, say, a Christian parent whose child is claiming these things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are the conversations you have to have with your child. Son, daughter, I love you. I'd die for you. Love you with all my heart, which is why I cannot pretend that your confusion represents reality. You're confused. And those are the sorts of conversations you have to have. Loving, compassionate, but straightforward and truthful.
Thanks again for joining us for this episode of the Straight Truth Podcast. Now, Straight Truth is listener supported. So if you'd like to find out ways how you can help us to continue to produce this podcast, you can go to our website and find out ways to do that, straighttruth.net. At that website, you'll also find links to all of our previous episodes and our social media channels, so be sure to check it out. Straight Truth is a production of Walking in Grace Ministries, the preaching and teaching ministry of Pastor Richard Caldwell. For more information, go to walkingingrace.org.